are very close to getting in. I think this is their chance to shine. They're going to be excited to finally be able to show people what they can do. And, I mean, but Kaunos is coming off of a high from that last match. I honestly think this is going to carry through, and we're going to have a close series again. But Penta, not someone to just put to the side and be like, okay, we got this. Kaunos has to be on edge.
No, I mean, for so long they've been considered a top 4 team. It's just a matter of, like Gibbs said, they've got nothing to lose, man.
Well, we'll see what's going to happen. Is Kaunos is going to carry over from that last game, push that momentum through against Penta. Is Penta going to show us what they got? Almost as they try to get an early goal. Killer just a little bit wide on that one. A dribble from Dan as he tries to throw that to the other end as they start to get a play of their own. But already I see a lot of nice shots on target coming up from Penta. That's going to be something that Kaunos is going to have to react to make sure that stops early on. Otherwise, they're going to find a goal in the back of their net. 30 seconds in, already a few shots coming out from Penta. But here's some retaliation from Kaunos as they create an attack of their own. It will turn around quickly, though, as that counter-attack comes out from Penta Sports. Killer, the last one back to try to kill any play from Kaunos, but again, riding off that high, they are showing a lot of aggression themselves now, and good touches from them are starting to set up some plays.
Yeah, you saw kind of like a false sense of security there for Penta, too. They played that ball to the outside, and fortunately for them, Kaunos had 2 players attacking.
Oh,
3 players
there, as we get a nice touch from Niels Cook right out to a teammate.
Yeah, what I was saying is he like cleared it outside and then 2 players got drawn in and they went to clear it out. But that third man back immediately plays it right back in, and then the pressure continues. You see it one after another. Even though those shots don't go in, draws out a defender, and then they get an open net afterwards.
That's it. Pull out those defenders, get a shot on net. Kaunos finds himself up 1-0 against Penta. Penta still has a best-of-5 series to warm up. They're going to want to do it earlier than later, though. We're only in game number 1 of this best-of-5. We'll see if Penta can answer that last goal now as they try to get something past that midfield, but losing control. Kaunos will retaliate again. These guys are looking pretty good right now, connecting with all of their passes, but a lot of contests from Penta, stopping any more advances and stopping Kaunos from extending that lead. As we see Killer and Pwned on the attack, trying to set up a play, but a miss pinch there from Killer will set up Dan Sizzle for a shot down the other end himself. 3 minutes left in this match, only 1 goal difference now. Kaunos leading the way. But Penta trying to set up a play now. Killer leading a lot of these attacks here. Freaky to follow the shot. Just on target, but we will see a stop from Zensis as they push this one back to midfield. And Penta will have to set themselves back up on defense.
Yeah, it seems to be Penta doing really hard rotations as well on defense. They're not trying to risk any shots on net. But it seems to be that Kaunos is carrying that momentum like the guys said on the desk. They want to carry that win into this match, and they're doing a pretty good job with it. But the pace of Penta coming in quick as Killer sneaks one in.
As I said, Killer's been on offense a lot. You've seen him being that lead for their offensive drive, and there he is. A nice pass off the backboard, no one to contest it, and Killer's able to get there first and put it into the net.
I mentioned Freaky in the pregame about how I think he's one of those players that we're going to expect to see to pop off. And it may not be on like the goal scoring aspect. It's more so just a matter of his perception of the game. He's up on that wall early, stops it, gets the 50-50 in favor, and it leads that pass to Killer.
Pwned almost put one on target there as he comes off the wall. That'll be a pass, but no, not a good pass as he throws that way too wide for Killer. We are tied up, though, so they could risk that play, but we have to have better touches from Pwned. That might be one. Zensis there to send that one right to midfield, forcing Freaky into the air. That'll be 1 player less now for Penta as they have to move back onto defense. Dan Zizzle trying to set up a play, but it goes way back to midfield. Shot from Freaky to the far corner with the placement on that, forcing 2 defenders up. Might be allowed him to keep some pressure at midfield. No, it does get turned around quickly. Rough spot now. We see Niels Cook ready for a shot, but he backs off. Very smart play from him. The pressure, really good plays coming up from Kaunos. But again, we are tied up. These teams showing to be pretty even in game number 1.
Now, despite, and very similar to the previous game, Kaunos hasn't got the best passing plays. Like, they're not passing to each other that much in the infield while the other teams are. Penta's doing it, as well as the team that Kaunos had to play previously in the last game. But it seems to be Kaunos is actually doing a pretty good job of handling it. Like, despite these shots coming out, their counterattacks are really strong, and then they capitalize on them. But tie game still, 1:15 left.
A miss there from Pwned. That will be Freaky, a 3-on-1 situation. Good patience, finds the exact moment he needs to attack. Takes the ball away and actually turns it into a 2-1 situation. A pass from Killer back to Freaky, but he did back off a little too much. as he tried to retreat.
That's a couple times Killer's had a couple missed touches on those passes. He's got to be careful and clean those up.
Well, if you're on the offense and you're trying to be the one setting those plays up, you're right. You have to be able to set the plays properly, get them on target. But they're getting very close to it, and with a tied game still, 47 seconds left, all they need is for one of those passes to connect, and they will find themselves in the lead. Kaunos with a good turnaround of the momentum back down into Penta's end. Trying to get that play. They're still on the ball right now off the backboard. Freaky did get a touch. Otherwise, Nilskog was there ready to put one in with no defenders left. Killer by himself. Again, so many of these passes from Penta doing a roll-up on the wall.
A lot of it had to do because he was being pressured on that wall. He was running downfield and he had one on his back. He actually got another touch off that wall to even play it to that part in the first place where it didn't look like it was going to.
Oh, they're going to get in front. So close. We'll see, though, in the final 10 seconds. There's another play. Zentis couldn't get it past Pone. He does body block that one out. But look at this pressure coming in the last few seconds. A shot just off the post. These guys are putting it on against Penta. And if I were Penta, I'd actually be worried about the rest of the series.
Kauno is playing very aggressive, like you said, and the shots coming in, they're making it count most when it matters. Matters when it counts most.
One of those phrases. But who would have thunk this? Right now, Kauno's even putting on against Penta. Two teams that we thought could be near the top of the leaderboards in this league play, and Kaunos putting up a fight, and there's a shot, and it's gonna make it. The defender could not get in the way in time. Zentis getting that overtime goal.
No, just so difficult to read as well. He plays that off the wall and going horizontal instead of straight downfield and throwing away possession.
Power.
There's a Dan waiting on the wall. He doesn't even hit it. It just comes down and then a team pitch to shoot that and rocket it into the net.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kaunos. What the
nice
hey?
To meet you. Cow knows best.
These guys are impressing right now. I think a lot of people, and first off, the name is fantastic. And then secondly,
I mean, the logo could use a little work. Gibbs mentioned it. Like, it doesn't even show the nose in it. Like, just shift it a little to the left,
small
guys.
details. They're playing great right now.
It's literally their name.
But what's important is their play, and they're showing up right now.
Yeah.
They just beat Penta in game number 1. Again, Penta, we keep talking about them, a team that we all think deserve to be in this league play. They're here now. They finally have a chance, and game number 1 just went to a team that maybe were expected not to win this series. I mean, the desk was calling it in favor of Penta. Now there's already a point up in the series for Kaunos. Honestly, they're connected with a lot of their plays.
Right.
Who knows if this will continue on in the league play, but for now, they're getting as many points as possible, and this will help them out in the future weeks.
Well, the biggest problem has definitely been killer number 7. Part of it has to do with, like, he's getting the pressure, he's moving it downfield. He's doing just fine with that aspect. It's just when it comes down to that moment, and you see it a lot in real life soccer, where you don't slow down and, like, just rocket it and try to hit it. You know, like they take their time with it with the approach and then pass it slightly inside. And Killer's having that problem is he's going too fast when he gets down to that end.
You're right.
He just needs to slow down and take a soft touch inside because it's just bouncing off that back wall and going over the top of the net.
Exactly. We saw a lot. It wasn't even just him. We saw a lot of passes. Even Pondex trying to get a pass, rolling it up the wall way too much, and it's just going way too fast across the net. And those aren't crosses that you're going to be able to connect with to get a goal on. But we come into game number 2, and we'll see if they can tidy up those passes on offense. Penta was very close to bringing that one back against Kaunos, but Kaunos did manage to get a win on that in this best of 5. An early start there for Penta as they get an air dribble towards the net and aggression coming out. We see this a lot in NA, not as much in EU right now, but there's our first one. As on the retreat, Pone gets a demo, buying his team some more time to set up at that midfield. There's a shot! Pone connecting 2 attempts, the second one connecting in the first 30 seconds.
Just like you stated, 2 attempts, that one coming across. Dan tries to clear this downfield, but he doesn't get enough power on the top right of his nose, and because of that, it hits that backboard and settles down in a place for Pondex. Able to put that back in, puts them up by 1. Good start for them in this match.
As we said, 30 seconds about to approach, not even at it yet, and we have the first goal in for Penta. They're ready to start this one off right. Killer trying to connect with Freaky there as he was upfield, ready for that redirect pass back to the center. Another demo coming out, this time in the favor of Kaunos. They're on offense. Could be the chance to put the pressure on, but they are backing off and giving away the possession to Freaky and Pwned. Penta trying to move down the field, almost connecting with those plays. I see a couple of those upfield passes for the redirects. There's a 2-on-1. Almost Dan just a bit off on that touch. Maybe could have connected with the power shot to put it in, but the attempts are not up yet. We still see Kaunos on offense. There's one off the wall. Good touch from Niels Kook. On target, there's Dan. He meets the ball with the nose and throws it to the back of the net.
Well played by Dan as well. He plays that back inside, and the Neil's able to get enough of a touch to play that offside. It was actually light enough to where it bounces off that lip in the back and pops perfectly out for Dan, who's already waiting for it. As soon as he gets that touch, jumps back up, puts a shot on net. And zero hesitation from this Kaunos team.
There it is, the quick answer coming out from Kaunos against Penta. They were up 1-0, but now we're tied up again. First minute of gameplay passed. We've seen a lot of good plays from both teams, but Kaunos is impressing me with their team play right now. Good stop there from Zensis. Patience from Dan. Doesn't commit to that one either, and it will allow them to move up the field with each other. Couldn't get past that defender, though. Penta will block that one at the midfield. Killer trying to salvage the situation. Freaky will have to move in to help them out. A little bit of a power shot there. It was wide. Zensis moves it back to midfield. Benushkuk. Zensis waiting patiently back. Seeing that Freaky had a chance to put that one on target. Meets that one at the box. Now we see Kaunos playing a bit of defense as Penta trying to set up some plays. The back passing here could be a chance, but Killer taking off the field will be a chance now for Kaunos to move back down onto offense against Penta.
I like the team awareness coming up from Pondex as well. Like, first one.
Oh, that passing play! So close. Killer just a little bit off.
That's what makes EU so exciting. Those infield passing plays so frequent and dangerous.
There's Killer up on the wall to set up another play. We'll see if they can get another team play, two of them. Look, Pone and Freaky both committing, and that's gonna be a goal resulting from that. Niels Cook sees them committing and plows through.
Huge mistake. You see Killer coming off the top. Freaky understood that there was a chance he may not get that, and that could have been a communication thing like, yo guys, I'm gonna miss it. So he goes underneath to try and make an attempt, and because of that, you have one person cheating up when someone still needs to be in net, two people on the same ball, and it's an easy shot for Kaunos.
There you go. With two teammates following up, that was a for sure shot on net and in the net. Approaching that 2.5 minute mark, we find Kaunos back into the lead. Penta lost their grip they had early on in this match. See if they can answer it back, though. Killer trying for a cheeky undertouch there to get it over top of Zensis, but he doesn't. And Zensis will carry this all the way down the field. Probably not the pass he wanted there. Dan won't be able to pull anything out of that one. Back to midfield. Cook misses that one. Killer and Freaky ready for a shot. Good touch from Killer. Just deflects it past the last defender.
Exactly what we needed from Killer. A softer touch coming across. You see Pondex playing that perfectly in middle. Killer takes his time. Soft touch around Zen. Zen being up preemptive for that. I think he was going for the initial touch. He didn't expect to see Killer sweep in and change the angle of it.
Of course, but we do find a tied game once again at that halfway mark, completely even. But Kaunos does lead in the series in this best of 5. We're down into game number 2. See if Kaunos can continue on the lead here, but Penta's putting up a fight, of course. Dan trying to move it down the field. We'll see if they can get a play, some back and forth off that kickoff. No one capitalized on that momentum. Again, back and forth, both teams just trying to find that opportunity. Pone might be able to. Couldn't roll that one past Niels. That's going to drop down for Killer, though. Finds the back of the net again just as it drops below that crossbar.
Fantastic decision-making as well from Freaky. A lot of the times we've mentioned how these guys played into the corner. Freaky actually hit that a little bit further inside, so the angle it took when it came back out wasn't directly against the wall. It bounced out a little bit towards his teammate, able to take the shot. Really well done by Freaky.
Beautiful pass. That's what we said. That's the thing they need to start connecting with is those passes, and you've seen that now. Penta doing a very good job of finding each other instead of throwing them too hard. Kaunos having to retaliate, though. They do find themselves down 3-2. 1 goal down with 1:30 left. They have a good minute left to find a comfortable goal before they're going to have to start rushing it. They are on the attack here. That one didn't get out enough. Pone will find an opportunity to clear that one down to midfield. There's a shot now for Killer. Freaky has to be careful, the last one back. Dan, we've seen him move that down the field by himself before. Did get stopped out, though, on the defense. Penta slowly trying to set up and extend their lead here with a minute approaching.
Good touches from Zen.
Kaunos has to make sure that they're very careful and don't commit too hard already. You see it. No one was back. Dan had to rush back. Thankfully for them, Freaky wasn't able to get there in time. That could have been another goal, extending the lead of Penta there. But now approaching those final 45 seconds, they will have to commit a little harder. This could be a commit right here. They try to find that hole in the Penta net. A good boost grab from Zensis will allow them to stay on offense a little bit longer here as Killer struggling to get that one out to midfield. Shot off the wall here from Zensis. Freaky meets that one off with a spider touch. Nice hard clear. Will buy them a little bit of extra time as they do still hold the lead in the final 30 seconds. Kaunos still being very careful with their plays. We don't see anything too risky yet. Just trying to find that one small opportunity. Very smart play from them, but With final 10 seconds approaching, they have to make a move. Otherwise, they will give up a point to Penta eSports. There's a chance now right here. Chip, but a miss from Zensis. And that will probably be the end of this, as we do see the pressure from Penta push on in the final 0 seconds of gameplay. They have a chance if they can keep this one up, though. Zensis can get a nice touch here. But greeted by Pondex, they will drop that one down. And Penta evens up the series 1-1 now. Very, very close match. Kaunos very patient, even though the last few seconds, still looking calm and collected on the field, and I don't expect this is going to turn the other way for Penta quite yet.
There was two ways to look at it as well. Like, they did look really patient. They were looking for that one opportunity, and I'm glad that they weren't forcing it, and that was for two reasons. One, Penta let them do that. Penta stayed back. They looked at the clock management, the time management that was available, and they're like, we're not going to pressure this. As soon as something didn't go in their favor, everybody immediately beelined back onto defense. Really, really smart. The other thing, Kaunos bumped into each other a lot. There was a lot of team bumps, a lot of, I guess, trampling over each other towards the right side boost in the middle, and it completely shut down the entire rotation. They had to resettle and then come back in, and with that one clear back in, it killed it. So a couple mistakes here and there, but overall, like, I like their opportunities. Like you said, they're staying poised, they're staying patient, and then they're going to bring it in. Why force it when you don't have to? Well,
absolutely. I mean, the second that you start committing, I mean, even too early, the second that you start committing too much, and we almost saw it around that last minute mark there, you're going to start opening up your net for chances for the opponents to put a ball in your net and just have an open long shot. And that's what you got to watch out for. But near the end, they still stayed collected. Maybe when they should have rushed a little more, but they just couldn't find those holes. So, like, you're right. Why push too much? But the big difference we saw with Penta was they were connecting, as we said before, with those passes. They were being smarter with their touches. I mean, a beautiful roof touchdown from Pondex was allowed Killer to sink one in there. Instead of rolling them off the wall like they did before, they were missing those chances. They now have them.
That, and everybody got involved. Everybody on that team had 3 shots. Majority of everybody had a save. Assists were for around the board. Like, everybody's getting involved, and that's what makes this team so scary. At any moment, one of these guys can make an individual play, and it's scary, man. To have to defend against that, like, usually you have characteristics of certain teams. But when you have a well-balanced team all around, like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to deal with that.
True, but we have a game number 3 now, as Penta eSports and Kaunos are tied up in the series. Kaunos still surprising us, showing very good gameplay. Penta trying to show off their worth now as they finally made it into this league play. So their debut, and they want to show you guys what they're made of, pulling back the series, tying it up. Down into game number 3, we have both teams trying to set up that first play, the early goal we saw. In game number 2, Penta get a quick early goal in the first 26 seconds. Weren't able to match that time on this one, but again, Killer on that offense, doing everything it can to set up the play with that Octane, getting in the way. Freaky is there for support. Some back and forth now between the offense of Penta and the defense of Kaunos. There is almost a squeaker right in the shot there. Killer tried to get another one just a little bit wide as the defense was in the way.
Again, the decision-making as well from Killer number 7, just waiting patiently. He wasn't going to be able to go up and make that aerial, so what does he do? He just backflips, stays in his spot, waits for his teammate to swing in and get it. Oh, the demo coming out!
No! Niels Cook, he doesn't connect with that. That was not the best play from him there.
Oh, he's got to be kicking himself for that one.
The demo was so critical there.
He had it. It was so free.
So close there. That would have been the first goal. Should have been the first goal. You cannot let those opportunities pass you by.
Well, you can't dwindle on that either. Like, it's one mistake, just move on from it.
Very true, but see if Penta
it was a big mistake.
It was a very big mistake. Should have played it slow. There was no one in net, but we'll let them be for now. We'll move on to what's actually happening now. With 3 minutes left, still 0-0. We find Penta back on defense, defending again. Killer takes that one away from Pone, and they will fly to his own net. Sorry, it was Freaky that went flying away, but Pone had to save that one. Freaky last defender. Zensis try to get a read. There's some infield passing play now from Penta to move that one back down the field. On the defense is Kaunos. There's a shot, though, from Freaky. Finds a hole in the defense. The first goal at that 2.5-minute mark.
Everybody getting involved for that clear upfield, and then one after another. But look how many people are in that corner. All 3 defenders swarming to that ball. Nobody staying in net, one on boost. And with 2 people on that, all he has to do is take a touch inside past both of them, and he gets a free shot.
Dan winning that kickoff pretty hard there. We see Niels try to move in, get a play started. They do manage to keep that one on offense, actually. Dan just a little bit short of that contest there. Freaky will be able to send that one far, but no pressure from Penta allows that ball to go right back into the wheels of Kaunos. They couldn't really create anything out of it, though. There's the 2.5-minute mark. Down a goal is Kaunos. Penta eSports, Penta Sports trying to extend the lead right here as they couldn't find a hole. But again, Killer, look at him, always on the offense, always creeping, always just getting in the way.
Yeah, it's dangerous when you have someone like that as well, and that's one way to break it up. You see Dan going for a demo. It stops that rotation from Pondax and completely resets. But Killer, yet again, sitting in that midfield, just waiting for boost, and then he goes on the attack.
Oh, shot just wide. Niels will be able to move that down the field. Loses control as Pone takes that off his roof. Oh, Dan in a rough spot. That should be to Pone. Out to Killer. Killer with a shot. Zentz is forced to cut down the angle there. Freaky following up a double top off the backboard. He's actually going to let that drop. We'd be out of position from that one. Pone will try it himself this time. Oh. Just off the crossbar. What a touch from him. Couldn't drop that one in. So close, an inch from going in. That will be now turned around. A counterattack coming out from Kaunos. They do find a shot off the crossbar. And there it is, the counterattack. They says, watch, this is how you get a crossbar shot.
Freaky trying to go for that. That touch is actually played pretty well outside. It's just not far enough against the wall. Because that, it centers towards Zensis. And then Zensis with that shot, he actually played that really, really light. And when these guys are getting so used to these power shots and having to preemptively go for it, and it just hangs up in the air, there's nothing you can do about it but be a sitting duck and just watch it go into your net. Placement was good, too, off that crossbar.
And with a minute 25 left, we find ourselves all tied up.
Yet again.
Again, Kauno showing they're not out of this. Again, the composure of this team being able to hold themselves together even when they're down a goal like that against a good team like Penta is very, very good.
Well, I mean, they showed that in open qualifiers, too. Like, they had a lot of ups and downs during their open quals, and they were able to secure it. Like, this Kaunos team has fought some battles to get to where they are.
As have all these teams, and that's why I find them so close right now in that final minute of gameplay, still tied up in the game and in the series. On his way back, Zensis gets a demo, buys himself some more time. Rough spot there. Killer tried to intercept. That was a scary spot.
Yeah, I heard you take that ready. You're like, oh, God.
Would have been a whoopsie doodle there, but he does manage to get it past. And Freaky creeping on Dan there. Some ping pong back and forth. What a shot! Niels out of nowhere. Cranks that one to the net, and defender has no choice but to just look at it go in.
Well, Dan tried to play that a little bit more downfield, but it ended up hitting ceiling, and because of that, it rocketed back down to Niels, and Niels just like, all right, yeah, I'll go for it. Puts a redirect, and the guy coming off the wall, I forget who the defender was back there, but he tried to jump and get it, but he misread it because of that ceiling hit.
And there it is. We find with 24 seconds left, Kaunos in the lead. They look to extend this and bring it to a match point against Penta Sports. Niels trying to get another one. They don't have to commit anything too hard. They have to hold off for 10 seconds here. Committing too much could be a last-second goal for Penta. We'll see how they handle the defense now. We see Penta pushing on that offense. But here it is. We see when you do that, you have to commit hard. A demo from Zensis and another goal just to solidify that one with 1 second left. 1 second left. There are not multiple of them. Kaunos will take this win.
Well, fantastic play all around from Zen. So he gets a clear, plays that completely misdirected on the other side of the field. Gets the demos to the last defender is gone, and then he manages to realize that, okay, my boost can't make it, so he jumps and does a forward jump. Oh my God, the mind game's on that break. Is that gonna actually, oh, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but it's still a great goal.
But yeah, like Zensis' heads up play, like he does all of that, uses a drift, gets underneath it, and then pops it over the top for the goal. Like really able to make it so they can go for that fake redirect.
I don't think it was, I think Killer just went for a block and it didn't quite work out.
I hope that wasn't what he intended because it was awful.
Yeah, that was brutal. Killer, come on, man.
I mean, it looked cool. It was synchronized.
It worked out for them, but it didn't work out for a win as Kaunos will take game number 3, putting them up to a match point now against Pentasport. Are we going to see Kaunos take 2 series today?
I mean, like the Des said,
our picks are ruined.
I would be pleasantly surprised, even though my picks are completely out the window now. It's awesome to see these teams where that stuff happens, you know, like where you're getting these teams that are new to the RLCS, and it's like they're turning heads. It's awesome. Like
I love it. I love seeing new faces in the RLCS because it just shows how wide this the player pool is.
Everybody's getting so good.
Everyone's getting so good. Our skill floor is just so much higher. There's so much content out there for players to get better, and now we get to see the result of that.
Right.
New players. A lot of these players still been around for a bit, but making their faces now in the RLCS against some of these top teams. Again, Penta, one of these teams we expected last season and this season, now facing a match point against Kaunos, a team that's brand new to this, and we're just like, what the heck, man? Kauno's doing a really good job. And so I got to give it up to Kauno, so composed on the field.
Right.
They look so comfortable. And a lot of teams get nervous in this situation. A lot of teams are like, oh, we're on the big stage right now. People are watching. We're against good teams. And that can show in your play style. But these guys are not letting it get to them.
Well, I mean, some of that has to do, too. Like, Dan is one of those players. He's always been kind of a streamer in the community, and he's starting to get that feel. But you think, like, how much does that carry over into competitive play? Like, obviously, it's a different mentality. There's a lot more pressure. There's a lot more people as well. But at the same time, like, he understands what it's like to have people watching him and critique him at all times. And to keep that composure, like, it's definitely showing. Like, they don't seem to worry or falter despite being down certain points. They just tie it back up, and they carry over for the win.
Well, we'll see. This is a match point for Kauno against Penta Sports right now. See if they can just win this one here.
Oh, what a
Almost,
save!
But a save. Incredible from Freaky. So close to going in. An early goal almost out for Kauno to try to get that early lead. Good block from Killer there. We'll set that one down for Freaky. He takes it low, but an intercept from Dan. Almost sets himself up. Pone will stop that play, though. They do have to try to figure out what to do with the ball here as they lost a bit of control.
A lot of early challenges coming up from Kauno, too.
No, I like it. You got to get up for those 50-50s. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself back on defense, which they do find themselves now. But once again, those wide passes coming out from Penta. Can't really connect with a shot on net with those. Unless someone meets it off the backboard there. Kauno with a quick turnaround. Dan, the last defender. Ooh, pops that up. Still a rough spot. Zenz is forced to get up, but he's going to be able to boost on defense now as Freaky tries to set one up for Killer. Spider touch right there from Niels Cook as he pushes that one to midfield, but the pressure not yet up from Penta as they start to mount some shots on the net here. They do give a lot of space now for Kauno to turn this one around. We'll see if they're boosted up. Likely having to play this one slow, giving Penta another chance to move back down to the other end. Pone with a chance for a hard clear. Gets a air roll to get that touch as far as he could. Zenz is doing a good job of getting up in the air very quickly to meet a lot of these balls to make sure there's no opportunities for Penta right now to really set up any plays when they do get on offense.
Yeah, 2 committed there on the wall. Luckily, they've got Zenz's back on defense. And because of that, all he's doing is clearing it downfield. Even though he throws away possession with that, builds his team time, they're able to go back, get some boost, and recollect themselves.
Again, play it slow, only win by 1 goal. Find that one mistake your opponents make. That's all it really takes.
But they were in control, like they were poised, they just stayed patient, and then they scored when they had to. And it's kind of scary because any goal can flip at a moment's notice.
Oh, yeah.
But it was able, like, everything they did just seemed like it was in their control, and that's kind of what Kauno reminds me of right now. Even though there's nothing really crazy flashy, their pass plays are on point, they've contested really well, and they're staying pretty much without pressure. Like, they're not really looking uncomfortable at all.
Well, we have Penta trying to get the first one, 2.5 minutes of pass so far. Neither team connecting with the net. We do see a bit of ping pong here. But still Kauno composed on the offense here. Ooh, Zenz is trying to go for a bump on Killer there. Good defensive passing there from Pone to Killer, but Killer couldn't really make anything out of it. They'll have another chance here as it did get popped into the air by Kauno. Off the backboard, Pone wide on the shot. Unfortunately for Penta. Now Freaky trying to set up another play. Does get the touch to Killer. Killer with a shot, but there's Dan to beat that one. A pinch to the far side of the Kauno territory as they try to find any kind of chance to get out here. Watching for that committing there. They almost sent 3 players on it. Would have a chance for Killer. A demo on the rotation back. Buying themselves a little bit more time, but Pone forcing himself through there. Almost gets a touch out. Killer, no, also misses that. But Zentis almost giving that one away. Niels will be forced to push that one down. Finally, that breakout chance they needed, but only because there were 2 whiffs from Penta.
2 whiffs from Penta, big mistakes on their part because they had the pressure. Freaky actually got a boost tonight as well. Dan finally got one after that. And that's kind of what led to the demo, but it was still enough pressure coming in for Killer.
Be a chance, and Killer will find it as Freaky gets that pop-up past 2 defenders.
Just like you said, the play coming downfield. I thought Zentis wanted a demo there. It looked like he was approaching, trying to stop it, and it would have killed that entire play. But just that one play, able to get a pass back inside. Killer waiting patiently, gets a shot on net.
A missed demo turned into a box out for Freaky. He was able to get that pass out with 1:14 left. Our lowest scoring game so far. Finally getting our first one. Penta very close to bringing this up to a game number 5. As long as they can hold off for that final minute of gameplay, but I'm sure Kauno is looking to get this over right now. You may as well send everything. Worst case, you go to a last game. Best case, you tie this into an overtime. Probably the better situation for them right now. And just putting that on target, the follow through, no dunk from him though. Freaky will get a high clear up to Pone. Off the backboard, Pone trying to follow it. He does as the defense misses a touch. 2 in the net now for Penta with 44 seconds left.
Exactly as you said, a missed touch coming out from Niels. He needs to clear that out, just barely missing. But Pone, good job following that through. There's so many times where these guys just drop and try to go for boost tonight. No, he's going to shadow it. He's going to make sure he follows it all the way through, and it pays off for him.
Now a much rougher situation for Kaunas. We may have to see this team push a little bit. I've been hanging out with Wave too much. We might see a little bit more pressure than we have seen, mostly from Kaunas, that they have to get 2 goals. Dan trying to set up a play. Can he get that out? He does. Sensis a little bit too far back, though. You need to see that pressure a little more.
Oh,
this is a chance. Sensis! They turned that one around so well. And with 20 seconds left, that could be a turnaround they needed.
Well, that original touch from Dan was insane to get that across, but then it pinches back to Dan, and Dan realizes, well, I got 2 defenders in front of me. What do? Passes it back to Zensis, who's already waiting, and then puts a shot on net. 21 seconds left. It's still possible.
Look at that. All 3 players on offense in that scoring position, and they were able to transition that one into a goal. 15 seconds left, though. This is going to be difficult if they can't get control of it, and they do not have control of it right now. Killer just going to kill time, allowing Pone to throw that one back onto offense by himself up there. They don't need to send any more. That's going to drop down for another chance for Penta to put one in. Killer misses it, but they kill enough time. This is a very difficult position to transition back into offense. Ooh, it's kind of working, though. Niels up for a shot. Just off. There's another chance. Killer manages to clear that with a clutch save. That was almost a turnaround for Kaunas, but we're going to a game 5. Wow. That was close. Kaunas almost turned that one around in 30 seconds.
That's scary. To see that happen, and a lot of those touches downfield should have been killed a lot easier, but still, like, leaving themselves the opportunity to even put it on. Like, that shot from Niels was almost there, and if it wouldn't have gotten cleared, like, there's 2 guys waiting for another shot. That's scary stuff. Yeah. But Penta able to hold off, like you said. Freaky taking more of a defensive role in that game, which worked out. You know, he's got a ton of saves. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so not only do we have Kaunas playing way better than we expected, some weird games going on, we also have a weird map coming up.
Ooh.
We got a Wasteland dropping in this. Turning up the heat now. We'll see if Kaunas can finally pull with another win on this, or Penta is going to solidify themselves in the RLCS in Week 1 for EU with a win in Game 5.
I'm pretty sure I can hear James yelling.
Like, there it is, distantly. No! Triggered! Wasteland, we have a couple non-standard maps in the RLCS, Neotoko being another
Neotoko.
I just can't do words today.
I want it to be called Neotoko now.
Official name change, please. A couple non-standard maps in RLCS and in Rocket League. A lot of cool maps. This is one of them. Walls are a little bit different. The floor is curved as well. It changes a lot of those bounces. So if you haven't been practicing this, the team that has a little bit more experience has the upper hand on this. Yeah. And I like to see these new maps coming out, or not new maps, but these different maps coming out. We have a Game 5 on Wasteland. Kaunas versus Penta Sports. Game 5, Kaunas impressing everyone but Penta, looking to make their name as they finally got into the RLCS League play. We'll see if they can do it right here in Game 5. An early shot coming out from Kaunas as they are putting on a lot of pressure now.
Well, a lot of it happens, too, because the way this map is shaped. Just like you said, that ceiling, it pushes back down. Oh, my goodness, so close. But, like, the walls, the ceiling, like, everything just funnels back into the middle. And it's so dangerous because a big clear, and even if the ball's just left uncontested, it's going to go towards your net if it's on your side. It's so dangerous.
Kaunas still on the attack. We almost had a chance Pone with an individual play there to try to throw that one in the net. But, again, wall play is a little different here as does curve it out a little bit more. We'll see if that'll make a difference. We didn't see a lot of that in the last few games. Killer almost recorrected for a shot on net there. We do see a lot of aerial play, though. Keeping it grounded a bit here as teams figure themselves out on these bounces. Off the wall, Niels can't set that to anything. A little bit far out for him to get enough power on it. A whiff from Killer there will allow Kaunas to turn that one back down the other way. That's a drop in front of the net. Freaky does manage to keep that one to the side, keeping themselves at a 0-0 with a minute and a half into Game 5.
This ball has been in the air like the entire game.
That tends to happen with good players, I guess. Kaunas
maybe they should change it. Bring it on the ground. Dribble something.
Finds himself on defense. Well, maybe keep it in the air. That's the one familiar thing they have in this, because the air hasn't changed at Wasteland. Maybe a little warmer, but it doesn't affect the ball at all. So let's keep it there. 2 minutes past, still no one scoring. We did only see in one of the last few games one goal, I think, finally in the minute and 30 left.
Yeah, it was like a minute 15 or something. It was pretty close off.
It seems very close right now, but Pwn trying to throw out for Killer. Killer gets not quite the redirect he maybe wanted. Freaky trying to fix that one up, but a little bit too far off. Just gives the possession away to Kaunos. But they give that away quickly back to Penta as they move back down onto offense. Neither one of these teams finding many real good opportunities to get that ball in front of the net. It is getting stopped in the corners quite often here as it rolls around that bowl. Ooh, 2 people committed to that. That could be a chance, though, for Kaunos. Last defender playing a smart. Killer gets that hard clear back to midfield. And a follow-up touch for that allows him and Penta to move forward. 2 people committed to that. 1 defender left. A roll-up. Could be a drop down if Freaky can get that to the other side. 2 people committed. Counterattack chance right now for Kaunos. The wall stop gets that one up in the air, but no follow through for Kaunos as we go back and forth once again between these 2 teams.
Both playing extremely confident as well. There's no hesitation on these hits, but a shot on net from Zensis saved by Pondex. That settling in front of the net can be very dangerous.
Yeah, if someone was there to follow up quickly, that could have been a goal for Kaunos. Fortunately for them, they probably didn't expect it to be such a weak touch from Pwn, but they still find themselves on defense. Oh, Zensis could drop this down for a teammate. Gets to it a little bit wide. Sends that into the hands of Freaky as he moves that back down the other field. Good intercept from Niels, but that could be in the hands of Killer as it goes off the backboard. Dan greening that one up for another spider touch, but a miss there. Could be a shot there for Killer, and it is as he puts it in. The first goal almost at the exact same time they got one in the last match.
Yeah, you can tell Niels on the back there. He is struggling for boost, just driving in circles, trying to collect anything he can. And rather than being in the net with full boost, able to make a save, there's no one there at all. It just settles in front of the net and they get a shot. Like, Niels completely boost starved.
Now we have a do or die in this situation in game number 5. Out of this best of 5, we have Kaunos trailing behind 1 goal with a minute 15 remaining against Penta. Last time we saw this in the last game, Penta did end up winning the series. Very close, though, for Kaunos to pull it back. We know they have the chance to do it, so we're not going to count them out quite yet, but a good ground pinch sends that back, forcing Kaunos on defense. There's the minute mark. But Penta still putting that pressure on again. They don't have to commit too hard to anything. Otherwise, you'll find Kaunos finding the back of the net.
What a shot from Niels.
Like that, even with the defender in, we still find the back of the net from Niels.
Just a full court clear, just plays it back into the middle. Niels cherry picks it and just puts a shot on net.
Maybe expected to the far side. Freaky got a feels backflip on that one, and we find a tie game now with 52 seconds left. And I said it before, Kaunos has the chance. I do not want to count him out to pull this back.
You have to respect their team. Like, they will punish you if you don't.
And there it was right there. Solid shot on net. Niels can't follow that one, though, himself. Dan and Zensis ready for a play. Zensis being very respectful for this touch here from Freaky off the backboard. Niels with a chance to put it off the bar. Almost. There's Dan, but he committed hard to that Pwn. Almost had a chance to turn that one around. There's a pass out. Stopped. Intercepted by Dan, but he's backwards. Freaky. Shot on target. There it is. They find themselves in the lead again. Well placed from Freaky with 21 seconds left. Can Kaunos do this?
Well, we saw them at this exact same time, except for they scored the goal at 21 seconds to bring it within 1. Now it's the opposite. So same situation, but on a totally different style of map. I'm curious to see what they plan out here.
This will be interesting. We know Kaunos can do it. Can they keep it in the air, and can they get this tie to bring it into an overtime on Wasteland? Dan off the wall, does get a touch, maybe not the one he wanted, but it does go the right direction. A wall stop to Zensis, gets a touch over to Dan, but Killer does get enough of a touch to kill that play in its tracks as they turn this one around. Penta looking for that final goal. Pwn gets it, 1 second left, that's gonna be it.
Pwn sees it and takes it as he's flying through the air, and just to secure it, you got these 2 guys rotating back on defense, trying to get there in time. But going from that left corner to the top right corner of the wall, like, good carry by Pondex to secure that goal and put him up by 2. No chance for Kaunos to come back, but man, what a battle coming out from these 2 teams.
You're right, it was so close, but congrats to Penta. They take that into game 5. What a close series. Got to give shout-outs to Kaunos, though. Very, very impressive gameplay from them. They were able to hold up against Penta. Both teams very evenly matched, and they almost had the chance at the end there. It was so close. You had that opportunity. All 3 of them got involved in that play, but Killer with a very clutch minor touch there, but it was just enough to be able to push that ball to the side, and that's what allowed Pwn to be able to move back down the other field and solidify their win in that series.
No, it's exactly as you said, and it always comes down to stuff like that. Like in these best of fives, when it's super close, it always comes down to like that one moment where it's like, okay, someone on our team made a distinct play for it to happen, and it's that save. It's just a quick touch to the side. Nobody's pressuring Pondex because they're worried about that counter, when in reality, they should be pressuring that. Like, you have to send the house on that situation because as soon as Pondex gets that touch, you get a 50-50 and then hope it bounces in your favor and you can get a shot. They didn't create that opportunity, and Pondex, you let him have his space, and we saw what happens when you give Pondex
Very
space.
close, but that's all they could do. Unfortunately for them, it just came down to the wire, but Penta was able to take it away in a very, very close series. Again, kind of